Dr. G here, and I welcome you to our weekly member seminar where we go over some aspect of preventive medicine. This will also be posted on my YouTube channel, The Natural Foods Diet. And that's so you can see the benefits of the free members-only seminars that we have available only at naturalfoodsdiet.org website each week. Today's topic is to talk about an easy way to increase your motivation to exercise. Fitness is such an important aspect of total health, and sometimes it can be difficult to make it a high priority in our day-to-day or week-to-week life. So today I want to share with you a technique that I use personally that definitely increases my motivation so that I'm less likely to skip a session, and I do more work during each session because of this. Now, our body adapts in the face of stresses that we place on it. And this work or exercise is what induces the adaptation. Now, in the Natural Foods Diet Exercise Program, we talk about balancing your activities with intervals, strength training, flexibility, and endurance training. It's also important to do what you like, or at least what you tolerate. Now, it can help a lot to journal this as part of your program, like we recommend that you do with your food and supplements. That's because we all have a different genetic makeup. And even if we have the same genes, environmental factors affect the expression of those genes. So no two of us are the same, just like we find with the diet that's optimal for each individual. Now, I found in my life that when I set goals, I'm much more likely to reach them, as opposed to just reacting to life day by day, putting out fires. Now, one way I do this in the fitness realm is to make a goal to do something in the future that stretches me. Now, for one person, that might be to walk out to the mailbox and pick up the mail. That would be a person that's extremely deconditioned or disabled. Now, for another person, it might be to compete in an Ironman triathlon where they swim a couple of miles, bicycle over 100 miles, and then run a 26-mile marathon. Now, when you put something in writing, and also when you tell others about it, it adds a powerful motivation. Okay, so to start this off, I'm going to go first. Now, I'm doing this here for a couple of reasons. First off, I want to show you that I practice what I preach. I've been doing this for many years, and because of it, I've had some great adventures, like climbing on an 8,000-meter peak in the Himalayas or summiting the peak of Mount McKinley in Alaska. Now, another reason I want to do this is to lead by example and to show you what's possible with the Natural Foods Diet Program. I mean, I'm almost 59 years old, and I've been doing this program for the last 15 years. And I want to demonstrate that it works, that you can be healthy, drug-free, and have lots of energy no matter what your age. Now, I love to be out in nature, so my goal activity is to do a hike, and I plan to do this in 6 to 8 weeks from now. Now, I need to choose an activity that's going to challenge me, one that when I think about it, it kind of gives me butterflies in my stomach because I know it'll be tough. It'll stretch me to the limit. So I'm planning to do the famous rim to rim to rim hike of the Grand Canyon. Now, this is a pretty tough hike, and my goal is to do it in one continuous hike. That is, start from the south rim, descend into the Grand Canyon, cross the Colorado River, climb up the north rim, descend back down, and then climb back up the south rim. Pretty simple. The total distance for this hike is 46 miles with almost 12,000 vertical feet of climbing and descending. Now, selecting such a big challenge does a couple of things. Now, first, I want to make sure that I'm not found dead next to the trail. So for this trip, I'll need to be strong and I'll need to have good endurance. Now I already have a pretty good baseline, and that's why my goal could be a lot harder than yours. Or you might be like my friend Pam Reed. She has a goal, or she doesn't really have a goal, but as an example, what if her goal was to do the rim to rim to rim to rim to rim? This isn't a competition, so we're not trying to outdo one another. Now, the next thing about a super challenging goal is that I'll be motivated to follow all the aspects of the Natural Foods Diet program. That's in order to recover from my training and to still have enough energy to fulfill my work duties and social obligations. This means eating right, taking certain supplements, and getting plenty of rest. So we come back to that stress adaptation principle. This means I want to start challenging my anatomy and physiology so we'll adapt. Now, my particular goal of going across the Grand Canyon and back will require a very efficient fat-burning system, and that you get with a well-developed aerobic capacity. Now, this requires prolonged activities, and that's to stress that particular system so it adapts. Now, another important aspect is muscular adaptation. And what I'll need to succeed in my big canyon trip is to have muscles that will withstand the long downhill sections. Now, when we go downhill, our muscles are used as brakes. And this is called an eccentric contraction. That's where the muscle fires and then it stretches as a brake to keep us from falling down the mountain. Now, if you've ever been sore after coming down a big mountain, it's because of this eccentric muscle contraction or braking contractions of our muscle. They cause a lot more microscopic muscle damage than, say, going uphill. And that's why going downhill you become sore. Going uphill you don't necessarily get sore. So for my hike, I need to do progressive, prolonged downhill stresses. Now, for going uphill, important factors include primarily my cardiorespiratory fitness and capacity. And these are best improved by high-intensity interval training. So my weekly regimen will include 2 to 3 sessions of high-intensity intervals. Or I might do time trials, and I tend to do these on a mountain bike. Now, for these workouts, I'm avoiding running because I don't want to overload or overwork my weight-bearing muscles, tendons, and joints. I want them to totally recover from those long mountain days that I'm going to be doing. So on a weekend day, I'll do a progressively longer mountain trail hike. Now, let me give you an example. Last week, I did a hike. I covered 13 miles and I had over 4,000 vertical feet of climbing and descending. And it was a very hot day. At the end, I was really exhausted. And I wondered if maybe my rim to rim to rim goal was a bit crazy. But, I try not to dwell on that too much. And the following week, I covered 20 miles and over 5,000 vertical feet of climbing. And I really had about the same level of exhaustion as the first hike, and it was just as hot. So guess what? I'm making progress. Now, each week, I'll continue to build the distance in the vertical feet, but I'll carefully watch for signs of overtraining. And examples of that are a high resting heart rate, or fatigue, irritability, like if I start kicking the dog or something. Now, if these occur, I'll take a rest week with very limited training. Now remember, keep in mind, this is for your health. I always leave room for a change or even abandon my goal if it turns out to be unrealistic or unhealthy. Now during the training sessions, I want them to be similar to the goal event, and those are those big weekend training sessions. And on the training sessions, what I want to do is check things out, like what socks give me blisters? What energy drinks make me puke? And how much electrolyte powder do I need to prevent cramping? Boy, I really need to work on that one, as I found on my last hike. Now, I'll keep you posted hopefully, of my progress. I want everyone to begin this process now for themselves. It can be a very minor thing at first. Make it challenging though for you. Have a physical goal and commit to it. Now if you're brave enough, record your goal event in the comments section under this video. Now you can include there any questions you may have about this process or any training questions. I'd be glad to answer them. There is no day like today. So come on, take a walk out to the mailbox. Or as an alternative, you can come with me to the Grand Canyon. Talk soon.